Speaking of pizza, that's what GM had named the hut that we were working for. Pizza the Hut. I love it.
Pizza the Hut!
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. If you didn't know, promise, swearsies, it's totally science. It's just a fact. You could go ahead and look it up. You'll probably find it on the internet somewhere, maybe. Today we're jumping into r/Tales of Neckbeards. Technically, maybe it's an RPG horror story or something like that. It's not been that long since we bid farewell to Linkbeard, but I am missing the tabletop cringe all of a sudden. You know, with the departure of Ramtide, we need a new GM, a new eternal game master. And we just might have found that person in user/the Irish Pirate 18. Yes, he wrote some cringe miss parody songs, and they were spiffy. Looking at the writing in the story, oh god, it looks absolutely immaculate with just a glance over. You know, I don't want to spoil it for myself. I did put the kibosh on the Christmas songs just because the algorithm was like really punishing me because they weren't getting that many views. YouTube does not like experimentation, apparently, which I guess is just fine. We'll just keep reading beard stories, and we'll get the Irish pirate his day in the sun that he so desperately deserves. And we will also get some of this tabletop gaming cringe that we so desperately crave. Yes, it's a win, win, win. All around, everybody's winning. Speaking of winning, I also saw a bourgeois beard went up, and that will come tomorrow. But for now, we'll go ahead, we'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this Tales of Neckbeards cringe. Star Wars Shenanigans, Episode 1, The Newbie Menace. Tabletop gaming gone wrong. Hey, that's a new, like, it's kind of Tales from the Tabletop, but not really. That's good branding. I appreciate that. It is Star Wars. It's not Legend of Zelda. I suspect that it will perform better than Ingress, but not as good as Linkbeard. That's just my prediction, all right? People really got invested in Linkbeard, man. If I could bottle that content and sell it, my god. But as it is, we can only try and make lightning strike twice. So I guess we'll see how it goes. So, sorry in advance if this post runs a little long. It's going to run extra long because I'm talking between every other sentence. If it's well received, I'll follow up with an episode 2, which has been done. This isn't actually the worst of the events to befall our gaming group for this campaign, but it was certainly the first one that made us stop and consider our life choices. Specifically, the choice to bring strangers, or a stranger to most of us, to the table. Yeah, generally you want a tabletop game with people that you trust pretty well, you know? I don't like this D&D get on the internet and find a random group. It just never seems to work out for one reason or another. I don't do conflicting personalities. Then I'm gonna walk out. Then you're gonna be left without the paladin. And, I don't know, go find another one, I guess. So yes, I would suggest, avoiding bringing strangers to the table if you can help it. Edit, I came back to try and clean up the formatting a little once I found out that ReddX was planning on reading the story, but let's put it this way. If someone gets hit by a car and the ambulance that they're riding to the hospital catches fire, you can only do so much with what's left of them once they get to the operating table. This was my first attempt at writing a Reddit story, and the formatting is just bad. I go back and forth more than a swing state politician up for re-election in this installment. I'll try to give it a facelift, but at this point, there's not a lot of face left to list, so just trust me when I say they get marginally better. And I did let you know that I was going to read this in the Discord, because I was hungry to keep them tabletop stuffs going. And trust me here, the writing is really the least of my concerns. I did look at the cast list, and that's a lot of voices that I got to come up with. But, you know, Irish Pirate also helped me out on that. Suggested some voices. So, This really is just a team effort around here. And anybody that apologizes for their writing is probably a good writer. We're our own worst critics, don't you know? With that semi-disclaimer out of the way, I guess let's get into the cast. We've got OP, that is our OP. 29 years old at the time, a gaming nerd, recently returned home from grad school, and getting married. Hey, congrats. Mac, my best friend since 2nd grade, the guy that got me into tabletop RPGs in the first place. Yeah, it's like that heroin dealer. He's just like, the first one's free, and then you're hooked for life.
Me, you bitches! I'm high on crack! Want a freebie?
Mac lived with his mom, was super into gaming, and was an anime enthusiast. I know what you're thinking. Is he a neckbeard? But I would argue, no. He had good hygiene, he was respectful to women, and didn't own a single fedora, so far as I knew. At most, I would say that he was only diet neckbeard. Just 1 calorie, not quite neckbeard enough. Yeah, I call it beard light. That's basically what me and all my friends are, so don't sweat that too hard. To me, it just means they're laid-back people who can enjoy the nerdier things in life without fear of judgment. So, good on you, Mac. We got Chainsmoker, a murder hobo with the roleplay skills of a wobbly bar stool. Oh, God. He spent most of the sessions either on his phone or outside the game shop, chain smoking, when it wasn't time to put baddies on the business end of a repurposed mining drill. Pretty sick weapon choice. But yeah, somebody who can't roleplay, I don't know, man. D&D can't all be about combat. I mean, the roleplay is where the fun and the shenanigans are inserted, right? Step your game up, bro. We got Peacekeeper, arguably the nicest guy at the table, friends with everyone except our newcomer, but God bless him, he extends that olive branch like a mall kiosk worker, handing out demo products to drum up business. Do mall kiosks still exist? Do people actually still go to the mall? I think those businesses folded long ago, and for good reason. I don't want to be harassed while I'm walking around the mall. Leave me alone. GM is our wizened old game master. He had the philosophy of, I'll just let you boys sort it out when any kind of conflict would arise. Sounds like a noodle spine. Step up. You're leading the game. Start to lead. What's wrong with you? I guess I'm jumping down his throat too quick. Let me wind it back a little bit. He also held back XP like a Victorian-era father withholding outward displays of love for his children. You see what I mean about the writing style? God damn, that's beautiful. I don't think there are enough showers in the world to wash away the shame of gaming at his table for years. But I can now relate to those people in serial killer documentaries that say with wide-eyed expressions, he always seemed like such a nice guy. I never knew. My wife knew, though. She had told me, he seems creepy, like a pedo, at the time. And she said that for good reason, as it turned out. Oh, God. Is the GM the beard? I'm going to have to evolve him from the old people voice to the neckbeard voice. God, that's going to be difficult. For now, I guess we'll just see how it goes. And then we have Hal, who is our new player. And this dude was way younger than the rest of us. He had never done a tabletop RPG before. And throughout the first session, I often questioned if he had ever interacted with real-life people before. Oh, poor Hal. He had the demeanor of a timid house cat being let out of its carrier into a new house, and was about as receptive, mid-game at least, to feedback as a sheet of drywall. I can't really hate on him though, not anymore at least, because he eventually came to understand the concept of cooperative gaming, and latched onto me and Peacekeeper like a rescue dog being told, "A good boy," for the first time in his life. He's a good friend now, and I still tease him about this event. To his credit, he totally owns up to it, and still cringes whenever it gets brought up, but now we can laugh about it. and it was suggested that I give Hal the Pip voice, because I was a bit confused as to who the Neckbeard is. ROP says that the true Neckbeard doesn't even really arise until the next story, so I'm going to hold off making the GM have the Neckbeard voice, and we'll just see how this one goes without any Neckbeard voice. It might flop for that reason, but I'm willing to take that chance. So, a bit of prologue before we really get into it. In 8th grade, Mac and I were last and second to last chair trumpet players in the school band. We could not be prevailed upon to give a crap about it, and we were taking the class because the band director had a reputation of being about as strict as your average Willie Nelson concert attendee. Yeah, play something, I don't know. Whatever, man. I'm smoking grass in my car on lunch break. Don't harsh my mellow, bro. There were days when I completely forgot to even bring my instrument, and he would just shrug and say, yeah, just read the sheet music. That's glorious. That's easy A if I ever heard of one. Some days he would just tell us to just break into groups and practice, and then barricade himself in his office like Shelley Duvall in that bathroom scene from The Shining. Who was Johnny in that in that scene?
Here's Johnny.
Except there was no Johnny. That's so sad. Nobody cared enough about him. They're just like, yeah, whatever. He's in there getting high or something. That's fine. I brought my Game Boy today. Class is A-okay. On one such day, Mac taught me about D&D. Oh snap. And from that point on, I was as into tabletop RPGs as a fat kid is into cake. Yeah, all the knuckles deep. I was going to say 4 knuckles deep, and then I realized that you don't have that many knuckles on your hand. There's only like 2 or 3 knuckles. Maybe he is 4 knuckles deep, like up to his elbows or something. Fast forward about 15 to 16 years. Hell of a time skip, huh? You're allowed to do that. It's your show. Want to know what happened in that time? Well, it's not relevant to the story. Still want to know? Oh, okay. You asked for it. I am curious. I went through a few years of being bullied until I snapped and shoved one of my tormentors' faces into a locker and tried to choke him out before a coach stopped me. He took me to his office where I assumed that he'd be making arrangements for my execution, only to have him say, "It's about damn time you did that," and set me free. Bro, that coach is down as hell. I want to buy him a beer. He truly knows how it is. I went to community college. We called it Harvard by the Highway for an associate's degree. I learned Yu-Gi-Oh! In the process and met the girl that I would eventually marry, but that is a whole other story though. I might tell it eventually, but I don't think that this is the right subreddit for it. I mean, there's not really any rules in r/ReddX reads. It's like stuff that might possibly get read on the channel, but your chances are infinitely higher if it's a neck or leg beard story. I'll tell you that much. I moved to the coast to get a bachelor's degree of fine arts in creative writing. Useless degree. At least I don't have to break the bad news to you. I got a fiance. I made a friend. They decided that they liked each other better than they liked me. Oof. That is a big oof, dude. But at the end of the day, yeah, whatever. Dodged the bullet there, I guess. I moved to the mountains to teach high school English as a lateral entry instructor. No teaching degree or experience, but they were desperate for teachers. Yeah, job's a job, man. I quit teaching before I killed myself or killed the kids. Or both. I stayed in the mountains to get a less useless degree, bachelor's in social work, and I started long-distance dating the girl that I had met at community college. She was always the one for you, OP. Sometimes you gotta get your heart broke a little bit to figure out what you really want, or something like that. I went to grad school for a master's of social work. I remember going to school, but I couldn't tell you about it because I blocked out all of those memories. It was the most stressful time of my life ever. of all times. Master's degree? Yeah, I guess. Both of my sisters have master's degrees, I think. And they don't seem that much better off for it, so I don't know. I hope you didn't break your back for nothing. I know that that is not the path that I would take, and I didn't. It'd be too old now. I'd get out of college, I'd be like 50 years old or something. Forget about it. I moved back to the center of North Carolina to get married, have a baby, and get a job at a nonprofit organization where I would be shown the same level of appreciation that a spoiled teenager shows their parents for calling him to the dinner table. Ugh, I can't believe you showed up to work today. God, I'm not angsty about it. This is just my real personality. Run, OP, run. The nonprofit office was within walking distance of a game store that Mac had been frequenting since finishing the 6th year of his 2-year degree. A scholar he is not. At least he had a good time, though. You know, like, he kept on getting older, and the girls stayed the same, or what is that Fast Times at Richmond High quote? Something like that. I was running group therapy sessions for people on probation and parole, and my last group ended around the same time that he and his friends were playing a Star Wars Edge of the Empire campaign. I can count on one hand the number of people that have a bad word to say about that charming devil, but he has the leadership skills of an expired jar of mayonnaise. Yeah, I identify with that pretty hard, honestly. He tells me that the campaign is going nowhere because the other players are even less likely to make a decision about where the group should go next. At this point, it has been many moons since I last rolled the dice with him, so I decided to give this ship a rudder. I inform, herein meaning humbly and politely ask, my wife, that I'm going to stay late one night a week to join the campaign. And this is a good thing. Spouses should have a bit of separation time. It's healthy for everybody, and I do like the dynamic there. I informed, and by that I meant I asked. The way that it works for me and my wife is like, we inform each other and the asking is implied. And luckily we both understand that after a long enough period of time. I hit it off right away with Peacekeeper and Chainsmoker, even though I don't do well with the smell of cigarettes, and the latter of that pair had the perpetual scent of cigarette smoke that you would expect to find on an old French gigolo past his prime with nothing left to lose but time. You definitely are a creative writing scholar. That is so beautiful. Jesus, dude. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my arm. A French gigolo past his prime with nothing left to lose but time. Both the picture and the wording. I swear I'll do it once we hit 1 million subscribers. Make it happen. Somebody hold me to it. I'll probably forget all about what I said and then hit 1 million and be like, oh crap. I really have to now? Okay.
No regrets.
Our characters worked well together. We'd been relying on the group's astromech droid to do the heavy lifting on the computer system though, and that is where Hal came in. The cast, again, of characters in-game, I guess. OP is Ferris. Chafari Sabson. What is that? The only results that I can find searching that string of characters leads me back to these posts. So I don't know what to think. Did you just have a stroke or something? Chafari Sabson. Okay, let's continue the story as normal. What? A Chiss doctor with the temperament of Gordon Ramsay dealing with adults, but the heart of Gordon Ramsay dealing with children. Yeah, that's basically Gordon Ramsay.
That's why it's called fucking non-stick!
I even did my very best impression of him. This character was the anti-murder hobo. Think Miracle Max, but even less threatening. He could bring back the mostly dead. Chainsmoker took to calling him Space Jesus. But he had no offensive abilities. He had a blaster, but it was about as useful as a condom to a neckbeard. Ugh, God. Why you gotta pull that one out? Mac played a character named Goatly. At least that's what we'll call him, because I can't remember the character's real name. Mac changed to a new character a few sessions later. He's got a habit of doing that, actually. He's always thinking of a new skill combination or new character concept that he'd like to test out, and indecisiveness gets the better of him. Annoying. As for this character, I remember that it was a Gotal with military training that carried a big blaster and enough grenades to set off his own fireworks display with the pull of a pin. Is that a character concept? That's the most generic thing that I've ever heard. Wait, I got this great idea. I have to change characters. Okay, what's your great idea? It's a guy with a blaster and grenades. Okay. You can be the new guy if you want. Peacekeeper played Savo, a Rhodian sniper that was addicted to drinking industrial paint dye. Not kidding, it is in the rulebook. Yeah, Rhodians are weird. He was a good pilot too. In fact, he was the only one in the party that could so much as take off or land without replicating the Hindenburg disaster. Read very important character in spacefaring RPG game. How does only one person know how to drive the ship? This is disaster waiting to happen. Chainsmoker played Roblox, a Nikto hired gun that used a mining drill to help people lose significant amounts of weight. That was the width and breadth of his character. If it didn't involve introducing someone or something to a white-hot torrent of plasma, then it was beyond his abilities. Yeah, I guess I could see why only one person knows how to pilot the ship. The other two are relatively dead weight, not very interesting characters at all, and also OP can't be the one to do absolutely everything, so big bless for Peacekeeper. Mac, Chainsmoker, let's just try to think outside the box a little bit, alright? You can still be a killing machine, but you also need some secondary skills that do something besides killing things. I can't believe I need to explain this. These are supposed to be tabletop veterans, am I right? And we were later joined by Hal, who played Gar, a Bothan hacker who did enough drugs to make even Keith Richards go, "Whoa there, take it easy, buddy." Is that it? Is that Ozzy Osbourne? I don't know. Let's get into the story. That's a lot of ramp up. Before I had joined the campaign, the party had picked up 3 side quests, which was 1 quest too many for a coin toss, so enter Ferris, the blue-skinned man with the decisiveness of a Wall Street executive and the outward compassion of a rabid Rottweiler. I was introduced to the group when they walked past the hospital from which I had just gotten fired for having a poor bedside manner. The group quickly recruited me as the ship's resident sawbones and asked my opinion about their quest options. I told them that we were just going to do the one that paid the most. And so we did. Finished the job in 1 session, actually. What? That's the easiest decision in the world. Thank you for making it so very clear, OP. Money good? We do thing that get money. Okay, done. I want to note here that I played Ferris as a jerk in game, but I was always mindful to make sure that my actions and decisions were in the group's best interests. If someone was dying, Ferris would be quick to patch him up, but not without asking, "Did you run into the blaster bolts on purpose, or just stand there with your finger up your nose like a stupid ponce? Take cover next time, you idiot." It's Gordon Ramsay enough. I hate people who justify screwing the party over by saying, "It's what my character would do," almost as much as I hate metagamers. I mean, there is a very fine line between deep, fleshed-out roleplay and just, "It's what my character would do." And 9 times out of 10, if somebody has to explain that it's what their character would do, then they're not role-playing it correctly, or else everybody would assume that's what you would do in that situation, because they know your character that well, because you're role-playing them in a way that makes sense to everybody else. God, that is a rant for another day. So we made progress on resolving one of the other quests too, and we were able to finish it with a zero-gravity parkour challenge at a national monument. Hey, that's pretty extreme. And that is not a metaphor at all either. That is actually the finale of the mission. That is so Star Wars. Just over the top and soapy. Campy for the sake of camp. We got a computer at the end of it that none of us could open. Even the droid said its encryption was beyond her ability to hack. This was the story hook that GM used to have us ask our hut employer for aid. And that aid came in the form of Hal joining the party. GM was his co-worker, and he had invited him to join because Hal liked Star Wars. This kid was young. We're talking, does your mommy know that you're out this late young? What's that, 14, 15? Yeah, I can't be seen around this. All of a sudden, this is not the game that I want to play in, where I gotta watch my mouth and stuff. Sorry, yeah, thanks but no thanks. I'm not actually that interested in what is inside the computer after all. Prior to him coming to the game, the youngest person at the table was in his mid-20s, and the oldest, GM, was in his early 50s. Hal was a teenager, so freshly graduated from high school that you could still smell the angst and stale cafeteria pizza on him. Well, I mean, he's a legal adult, I guess, if he's graduated from high school. I guess we gotta give him a pass, boys. That's fine. Welcome to the real world. Watch me boof this alcoholic drink. That's exactly what happened in the last D&D session we played with the Discord mods. Speaking of pizza, that's what GM had named the hut that we were working for. Pizza the Hut. I love it.
Pizza the Hut!
Right in the space balls. When our party asked the Hut if he had anything that could break the encryption, he said, GM is Pizza the Hut.
Of course I do. I have a slave that I keep around for that sort of thing. Good at cracking codes and getting in those hard-to-reach spots.
Wow, he does a really good Neckbeard voice, doesn't he? And cue the entrance of Hal.
You can borrow my boy for your box, but in return, you need to do something for me.
OP as Ferris. If it involves some of your dancers, I volunteer. GM as Pizza the Hut.
It doesn't.
OP as Ferris. Roblox volunteers then, don't you? Chainsmoker looked up from his phone. Chainsmoker as Roblox. Wait! What? OP as Ferris. Never you worry, Sunshine. I'll stitch you back up. GM as Pizza the Hut.
It's a job for all of you, and you need to take my boy with you.
The job was simple. He wanted us to break into one of his rivals' private compounds to steal some information. What kind of information? Well, the secret kind, of course. You don't need to know what the MacGuffin is made of to get paid for it. That's true enough. I'm in for it. We negotiated on a price and came to an agreement. Part of our payment would include getting to keep the hacker that was just supplied to us. He was close to paying off his debt, and with just a couple more jobs, he would be a free man. Both in thing. Mac is Goatly. Welcome to the crew, kid. You got a name? Hal is Gar. Yeah, but why should I give it to you? Peacekeeper is Savo. Because you're going to be working with us? Hal. I don't know any of you. I don't feel comfortable giving you my name. OP. Maybe your boss could see to your comfort level when we tell him that you've been an uncooperative little prick. Hal. Ugh, fine. My name is Gar. Peacekeeper. Welcome to the crew, Gar. Hal. I'm not part of your crew. I don't know you guys. Once this mission is done, so am I. OP. A loss from which we'll never recover. At this point, Hal asks, out of character, Why we're all being so mean to him? What? All I did was ask your name, little guy. We explained to him that he's making it difficult to include his character in the group, and that he needs to roleplay his character as being more cooperative, or this campaign is going to drag and then grind to a halt. He shrugs and goes along with it, a little more sheepish than before. I felt kinda bad, but yeah, it needed to be said. Doesn't even seem all that harsh, all things considered. You didn't call him an idiot or anything. I mean, your character did, but there is a difference between in character, out of character, and I guess Hal is gonna learn the hard way about that. So we set out on the mission. Peacekeeper was able to land the group outside the compound without detection. Ace. We were able to make it into the compound thanks to a rather clever plan cooked up by Mac and Chainsmoker. Hey, maybe they are pulling their weight. Good job. Mac rigged up a series of explosives to detonate a mile from the compound. This would get the guards' attention and pull them away from the other side of the compound long enough for Chainsmoker to use his mining drill for its intended purpose, cutting through things that didn't have heartbeats. With a hole cut into the wall, we were able to slip through undetected. Wow, that's relatively easy, isn't it? Look at that, coming together like a team. I'm already so proud of this little band of misfits. We made our way to the server room, and Hal went to the terminal to open it and rolled a despair, the worst roll that you can get. He didn't just fail to unlock the door, he set off the alarms. Yeah, he's really worth bringing along, isn't he? We'd initially considered letting Chainsmoker just cut through it, but we figured that it was probably connected to a security system. We were right, and that security system would have activated if he had tried to cut it. So, seeing as the alarm was already well and truly sounded, we now opted for Plan B. And so with the siren song of a security klaxon filling the air, we sat back as Chainsmoker put drill to door and opened the way to the objective. We had to hold off a few waves of guards while he did this, however, since the metal wasn't as easy to cut through as the concrete wall had been. But yeah, plasma will cut through anything. I'm just so glad that nobody's pulled out a lightsaber yet.
Uh-oh.
Actually, my character's a Jedi. Oh, how interesting. In hindsight, we should have had him cut through the nearest wall and Kool-Aid Manned our way in. Oh.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
Hindsight is 20/20, isn't it? Peacekeeper, Mac, and I held back to guard the door hole while Hal and Chainsmoker went into the server room. Smash Mouth All-Star. Oh, it's a parody! Oh, God. Gonna have to do it without background music. Here we go. Well, the guards were coming and they didn't stop coming. Failing the rolls, Hal hit the hall running. It only made sense to let Smoke have fun. The plan was smart, but the rolls were dumb. A job left to do, payment to seek. At this rate, we won't be till next week. We'll never know if we don't try. Try! We'll never know if we all die. Hey now, it's a rough start, but the game's on. Let's play. Hey now, here's the fun part. How can hear a droid say, betray the Hut and his friends? You'll be rich and free in the end. Well, that came out of nowhere. Thanks so much for that, OP. A welcome interlude indeed. So do you think that they do it? Betraying a hut is never a good idea. You're gonna have one of them bounty hunters, Django Fett, is gonna crawl up your a-hole. But yes, that is right. The rival crime lord had a droid in the server room offer Hal the chance to make a fortune and earn his freedom all at the same time if he helped kill the Hut and his cronies. A little group of people called the rest of us. Oh my God. Why would you make this an option? Don't put these thoughts into that innocent young boy's head. All he's gonna do is get player killed in like 2 rounds. Why would the DM offer something that could easily amplify the tension that was already permeating the air? I don't know. Well, we do know that he liked him young. Ugh. Did we know that? Did we? Oh, Jesus, dude. Calling it now. I hope the GM dies. It's awful. I was like, let's get away from Linkbeard and the horrible things therein. And I jump into this one. I'm like, oh, it's still horrible. Everything's awful. Thanks. Oh, God. So, yeah, GM liked him young, so that could be a little bit of favoritism towards Hal. Or maybe it's just the fact that some men want to watch the world burn. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of PvP. All parties are consenting. Really, the only person that needs to consent is the one who's going to get, like, burnt down in 0 rounds of combat. You really think your character's strong enough to fight 4 other characters? I doubt it. I guess maybe if your dice roll is, like, extra amazing. But a team player would tell the rival where he could shove the offer, a place that, while space-saving, would also limit its exposure to sunlight. Hal, however, opted for some god-forsaken reason to the get-quick-rich route. He's gonna be dead in no time at all. It doesn't take many brain cells to bump together to figure that out. 4 on 1, gee, I better not. But it seems like everybody made it clear what was gonna happen next. Out of character, we all told Hal that doing so would be a completely dick move. It was at this point that we realized that he was entirely unfamiliar with the concept of cooperative gaming. That's not to say that he knew about co-op games and just didn't like them. His entire gaming history up until that point had been online shooters or other PvP-based games. When we told him that we were all supposed to be working as a team, he looked visibly confused. How is this even possible? The kid's not too bright, okay? And now that it's all spelled out for him, is he still going to try and fight everybody? I'm on the edge of my seat. I adamantly refused to take any action against him in-game until and unless I knew about the arrangement. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't in the server room to hear that offer. Fortunately for me, though, Chainsmoker was. We eventually got the data. We didn't, and fought our way back to the ship. Once we broke atmosphere and jumped to hyperspace, we had a fun little conversation. Chainsmoker:
Hey, so you're not really gonna try and screw us over, right?
Hal: What are you talking about? Chainsmoker:
I heard the droid, dude.
Mac: Wait, what did we miss? Chainsmoker:
A droid in the server room offered him a lot of money to betray us.
OP: What the actual piss? Are you serious? Hal: I don't know what you're talking about. Chainsmoker:
I was there. I heard it.
OP: Seville, check the data pad. Peacekeeper: On it. Peacekeeper rolls to access the data pad. Lo and behold, the data is not there. Peacekeeper: We don't have the data. Oopsie. Mac draws his blaster and points it at Hal. You're dead! Why would you do that? Hal also pulls his blaster. You guys have been nothing but mean to me since I've met you. Who shot first, Han or Greedo?
Yes, I bet you have.
OP: We asked you your name, you prick. We said we wouldn't work with you if you weren't cooperative. What monsters we are. I'd kill us too if I were you. Mac: Lock him up. We'll deal with him when we get back to Hut. At this point, it almost comes down to a firefight, but yeah, Hal is outnumbered. So we tell Gar, Hal's character, that the only way he's gonna make it through this encounter alive is to cooperate for once. He lowers his blaster, as willingly as a starving vegan turning to cannibalism, but you do what you have to do to survive. Once he's locked up, the rest of the group considers our options. Peacekeeper, we don't have the data though. Chainsmoker, do you think we can go back for it? OP, oh, absolutely. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to hand it over if we just head back and explain that it was all one big misunderstanding. We decide that our best bet is to send our employer a message about what happened and gauge his reaction. If he doesn't seem interested in feeding us to a rancor, then we'll return his hacker for the traitor he is, free of charge. Otherwise, we'll save ourselves by getting as far away from his planet as possible and never coming back. The bounty hunters, they're coming, dude. Once again, we found ourselves going down the path of Plan B. Maybe we'll get to meet Boba Fett.
Hey, aren't you Buzz Lightyear? I love your movie.
Now, this is the part where we went from a frying pan level of betrayal to an into the fire situation. Yeah, dude, it's not a good idea to betray the Hutts. Our group has thus far been working for a Hutt cartel. They aren't known for their law-abiding ways, and this campaign takes place during the Galactic Civil War. We have, at this point, locked Gar away in one of the bunk rooms and cut power to it. We leave the life support on because we don't want to kill the guy, but we have decided that this character has to go. Oh, poor little idiot. He just didn't know what he was in for. Did nobody explain this to him? He's like, I like Star Wars. GM's like, okay, cool, come to this game. Little 18-year-old boy follows this 50-year-old man to a game shop and gets his character murdered because he doesn't understand what's happening at all. Kind of feel bad for him, but also it's hilarious. So yes, Hal is by this point quite upset with us. We explain to him that it genuinely isn't anything against him as a person, but the actions of his character have left us no choice but to get rid of him. Mac offers to help draw up a new character for the inevitability of Gar no longer being one of the boys. Hal rejects this and says, he doesn't want a new character. We decide that that's a bridge best crossed once we burn it completely. Too bad you're getting a new character. Well, the problem with leaving a hacker unattended is that he can sometimes be a little too crafty for his own good. We had cut the main power to the bunk room, but Hal had an idea. Hal, wait, so they left the life support on, yeah? GM confirming with the rest of us.
Yes, they did.
Hal, don't those systems need some power themselves? GM,
yeah, I guess so.
Hal, I want to open a wall panel and find a power source. We all look over at him, impressed with the ingenuity of someone so new to role-playing, but also keenly interested in what it is that he's planning. He passes the rolls he needs for prying a wall panel loose without any of us hearing it, and finding a way to connect the computer terminal to a life support power supply. Chainsmoker,
Can we stop him?
OP, nope. Not until our characters know it's happening, at least. We don't want to metagame. That's why I see some games using notes passed back and forth for like secret actions. And that probably would have been the move to make if Hal wanted to do something like this. But again, he's new. Maybe he didn't know. It is at this point that I had to actively calm myself down and repeat a soothing mantra to myself. It's just a game. It's just a game. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that until he takes over the ship and blows everybody up, flies into the sun. Hal passes the mechanics check to connect the terminal and it powers on. He sits at this point and sends out an encrypted distress signal on an Imperial frequency. What a dick. If I go down, I'm taking you with me. DM gives us the chance to roll to see if we notice anything. The dice decide that all of us are unworthy for 8 frigging turns. This is beautiful. This is some karmic justice headed right your way. He's like, okay, you want to kill my character? You want to make me roll a new character? I'm going to make sure that we all have to roll new characters. Beautiful. By this time, Hal has made contact with a moth, and they're having a rather pleasant conversation. They talk of all sorts of things. What the weather's like on the moth's planet, what her children's hopes and dreams were, Gar's favorite types of food, and oh yeah, our names, locations, and the nature of our work. Well, he just bought himself a free pass. It seems like all the characters except his are dead. My character finally notices that the ship has opened a communication channel. I ask our droid to patch us in, and it takes another couple of turns to break Hal's encryption. When our characters finally know what's going on, it's too late to stop him. The damage is done. We are, by now, almost certainly wanted men. I return power to his room and we go confront him. The door opens up and Gar looks up from the terminal. Hal is Gar. Wait, I can... No, he cannot. Because before we can have a lengthy discussion about ancient Alderanian culture, the nature of good and evil, or whatever the hell he thinks he's doing selling us out, Mac puts an end to it with a stunning blaster bolt right to Gar's face. Yeah, I mean, he kind of deserved that too. And it's only on stun, isn't it? The Imperial lasers will be set to kill. Gar goes unconscious. We tie him up and throw him in a storage crate. Peacekeeper, dear sweet Peacekeeper, argues that we should put some air holes in the side so that he can breathe. I suggest that we should let Chainsmoker do what he does best and drill, baby, drill. But since using an industrial drill on board a spaceship is about as smart as giving a loaded gun to a coke-addled chimpanzee, we opt to find a different way of getting the job done. Man, giving a loaded gun to a coke-addled chimpanzee sounds exciting as hell. Do it. You won't. At this point, there's only one organization left in the galaxy that we can sell Gar to, since he's technically an Imperial sympathizer now. So after we handed Gar over to the Rebel Alliance, I had a heart-to-heart with Hal. I explained to him that in a cooperative game, you can't do stuff like that character had done. I took the time to point out the things that had been good about the way he had played, and the things that had been, not so good. He was actually receptive and apologetic. He explained that the reason he hadn't wanted to make a new character was that he really liked the stats that he had drawn up for the hacker, and he didn't want to have to come up with a whole new character concept because it was the first character that he had ever made, and he had spent a lot of time on it. All that is a fair point, but really you should have been looking up, like, how to play game. And that character might still be alive. So with the DM's blessing, we came up with an idea. Gar had a sister that had enough social competence to give us her name without having to be prompted. Oh, and the ability to not screw us all over. And thus, Jula joined our ranks and became a valuable member of the team. Well, good on you for trusting a blood relation to a traitor. I think that my character would be quite suspicious. So over the next year, I would end up mentoring Hal out of character. My dear, sweet, loving wife often referred to him as a puppy, as young kids often are. As it turns out, Hal didn't have many friends, and he didn't come from a home environment where healthy socializing was on the menu. He grew a lot over our time gaming together and is a good friend now. He says he doesn't blame us for what we did to his first character. We dealt with a threat, got paid, and put the campaign on a new course, now working for the Rebel Alliance. But our problems were far from over. It would be there, among the ranks of the intrepid underdogs, that we would face our greatest challenge yet. Let's just call him Elroy. A toxic waste of carbon that could best be summed up with the title, One True Main Character. Oh yeah, railroad me, daddy. But maybe in the next part. I've never posted one of these stories to Reddit, so I'm not 100% sure how the formatting should look. In truth, I've never actually read one, but I have listened to them as read by Vinci, ReddX, and D&D Doge while at work. D&D Doge, that's a new face. Hey, welcome to the fold, buddy. And Vinci, yeah, he still hasn't gotten back to me about that collab. I sent him a message on Twitter. We talked like a second. But yes, OP listened while at work, on the road, or doing work around the house or the yard. Would I sell a kidney on the black market to hear it read? Sure. Will it happen? Not likely. Does it have to be my kidney? I'm asking that for a friend. I mean, I'll take the kidney money. That's fine. You had a Dark Knight quote earlier with some men want to watch the world burn. And I matched that with my own Dark Knight quote. If you're good at something, never do it for free. Anyway, I hope one or two of you enjoy the story. I might come back later to elaborate on some things, but for the moment, I need to feed and water the kids. Thanks for taking the time to read it, also edited for grammar and formatting. Well, it is definitely more in-game than out-of-game, as OP tells it, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either. Some very interesting happenings in this game, and they do end up giving some glimpse into the minds of the people that are playing behind those characters. Early on, I had Mac and Chainsmoker written off as like brainless murder hobo guys, but it seems like they do know how to problem solve, and even if they aren't that great at role-playing, maybe that comes with time. Give them another 20 years and they'll actually start doing stuff with their characters outside of combat and problem solving. Baby steps. That's fine. Baby steps. I am excited to meet Elroy because that is when things will start to get pretty grimy, but I do want to see how this video performs and all that. It's a Star Wars tabletop. It has a song parody right in the middle. Kind of reminds me of Zuka. I hope Zuka's doing okay. Haven't heard from that guy in a little bit, but I definitely do appreciate you guys for watching. I hope that you like, comment, and or subscribe. If you did enjoy the video, yeah, maybe share it around. Get somebody in on the ground floor of a new series. Absolutely beautiful. We've also got links in the description, of course, as always. You know, the podcast, super important. Playlists. Oh, yeah, you can find all kinds of stuff. Plugs. Mine and my wife's channel, Mr. and Mrs. ReddX. My Amazon affiliate link. Teespring if you're trying to rock the merch. All kinds of stuff down there, including my social medias. Hey, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Come on through. Say hello. We've also got my Patreon and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. I'd like to thank them, Jerry much. So thank you, Robert Waits, Camille Sarah, Jarhead Jerry, Oorah, Logan Wolf, River Jerry, blah, 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 Conrad Inge, Clapton Cloud Jerry, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Saruano Ash, hey, climbing up the list, proud of you, Cinema Susie, For Old Lang Syne, Fire Drake, Giggle Jerry, hee hee, and Uriri, the most different, spelling Jerry different most of the, Jari the Pirate, Rogue, Silent Revolver, Jerry the OG, Jerish Kitsune, Matthew Simmons, Satori, 211 Jerry, The Return of Jerry, the Justy Jargonian Jerry. What happened to my other Jerry? Oh, that makes me sad. That's alright. We'll live. We also got Alunia, Althea, Anunnaki, Assassin Pug Jerry, Atheist Jerry. He's so euphoric. Aurora Wildheart, Grizzly, Bailey Joy, Bearded Jerry. What's up with that guy? Billy Mays here. I've come with the power of OxyClean to fight the nasty neckbeards. Oh, Billy Mays. Never did I think you'd be a patron of mine. Truly, we are blessed. Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Blameless Fish, Blip Bloop Jerry, Commander J Tank, Dennis Dayton, Dinosaur Nightlight, Disposable Waifu, Emergent Jewel, Aaron Lennox, Frozen Over Studios, Gypsy, Adrian BR. Have a minty new year, Jerry's. I'm Slim Jerry, yes, I'm the real Jerry. Irish Pirate, hey! Top of the morning to ya. And to you, my friend. Itchy Nuts, just scratch 'em, bro. A pimp named J. Crisp. Yes, you have to say the whole thing. J.M. Coon, Jennifer Schaefer, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry Bowberry, Banana Fan of a Fairy, a Fee Fi Mo Mary, a Jerry. Jerry Nice, Jerry Evil, The duality of man. Jerry the small Jerry to the other Jerrys. Jerry the outlaw mother trucker. Honk honk. John Hero. John Jerry Jingleheimer Schmidt. Hey, that's my name too. Sim Boofing, if you're boofing is free. KJW Kajow, Crewhee, Miss Monday, Lord Jerryo, leader of the Thunder Jerrys, Lady Nix, points katana while also tipping fedora and scratching unwashed swamp crotch, Jerry Talent. Jerry Talented. Jackets Rule, Melgar the Destroyer, Mr. Carrot, Mykola Demikiev. Mykola Demikiev? Yeah, well, one of those, I think, maybe. Natari, Nightmare Jerry. Oh no! Origami Jerry Steve. Patron Saint of Chicken Nuggets, Saint Jerry Ramen. Phantom of the Pines, Jerrykins and Jerry Beth. Professor Tom Moriarty. Ramtide Lacrimates. TSM Kirby. Sarita the Lolita. Saucy Octopus. Slander Jerry. Oh no, Slender Jerry. Don't ever slander my Jerrys. Staples, aka Jerry Yeet. Stephanie Goodner, Synaptic Boomstick. Brilliant Tomago. Teddy the Police. 10-Ton Monster. The One True Fusky. Tom. But it's the Jerry on the inside that counts. Church. Viking Jerry. We asked Mr. Jerry to return the attic key as we have been unable to feed or bathe Marble Jerry for 2 weeks. Nah, I think he'll be alright. What does the beard say? You're welcome. People have really been loving that one in the comments, man. Will Mags, y'all heard about Mr. Jerry? He stole the attic door key and put it in the used waifu pillow. It's the Marble Jerry timeline. Comrade Mooney, Kira, you're a wizard, Jerry. Redwind, Goose says honk, Naga Vipers, Psy Jerry the Cyborg. Saints Blessing, a normal Jerry. I saw the Thunder Jerry tryouts. There was one empty spot in the lineup. Poor Marble Jerry. Everybody's concerned. Please come home. Hunter of Jerry's, Devourer of all things tasty. It is Tom, Admiral T Tank, Alunia, Amara. An elusive wild third inch appears. I knew it was there. Atomic Jerryzilla, AZ, Babsy Coon, Banished Knight, Barbushka's Irradiated Jam, Broken Spine, Horseradish, the original different Jerry? Yeah, that's Cake Jerry. California Jerry Girl, Chevron 7 Locked, Chia Jerry, Grismeska, Cinnamon Bunny Dog, Corporal Admiral, Princess Tigerian Furry Warrior Woo Jerry, yeah, Crib Titties, Cuba Jerry, Define Jerry, Dopamine Dangerous. I'm a OD. Electrical Fennec, Ghost of Alpha, Heeknot. Am I still doing it wrong? HFT Mayor, Holy Berry Jerry, Hydra Jerry, Jeffrey, my name is Jeffrey, Geralt of Rivia. Love it. Tom and Jerry versus Happy New Year's Werebeard Apocalypse. Jerry, the Sussy Baka. Jerry Aldo Rivera, you check out that mustache. Jerry Bean, yum. Jerry Roxers, yay. Jerry says T.I. blew a head gasket. There's so many Jerry storylines going on. We got Jerry role-playing game, Kid Marvelous. Yeah, I like that name. It's got some Dude Perfect vibes. King Tom, Smasher of Jerry Zillas, Kitsakin, Life of Guardian, Little Ann Woods, Lucia Lovecraft, Maybe Next Time, Midnight Sun, Milk Fed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Not Invisible Angel, One Leg Jerry, working at IHOP. He's just trying to make that money. Origami Cam, Ghosty, Raptor Art, She's My Jerry Pie, go drink a Mountain Dew, what a big surprise, cringe so good, make a grown man cry, sweet Jerry Pie, it's Smitty, Warman, Jagerman, Jensen, Snary, that's Snob Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Spoopy Scary Jerry Tons, Steve Kelly, the Gaslighting Terry, I never paid you on Patreon, you crazy. Yeah, I am crazy. I'm gonna bite your nose off. the Necro Jerry Cod. The original Jerry, who is not. The Two Infinite Jerry and Bob. We'll definitely do that. I'm hoping. Tuna Fish Jerry. Help! I've been a warm shaped like a J, and now I'm stuck in a cramped dark place that smells like low quality mayo. Oh my god. Yet another imaginative iteration of Jerry. It's so tongue-in-cheek. It's so meta. I love it. Zestaboo Jerry, and of course, Tom Promise, Jerry Swiss, Tom, Bad Jerry, Be a Good Boy, Still Swiss, it's just facts, totally science, go ahead and look it up. Anybody know the ReddX video? It's not even words. And thank you to my $1 patrons as well. Beautiful people that they are. You guys absolutely killing it on the Patreon, honestly. I am so beyond grateful for each and every one of you putting your money where my mouth is, I guess, as the case may be. I do hope some other people will consider joining up on the Patreon, but if you can't do it right now, I mean, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos. Do it.
Do it.
Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, bye-bye.